Good afternoon. So hopefully with it coming at me, it still doesn't affect it, but these microphones that I purchased, finally found some that I really like. They actually cancel out the giant pedestal fans. Hopefully that's actually working today, because I don't think I've ever tried to stand in front of one. The topic here is I'm planning on making a program that's going to be like a vaulted program, so like a membership program, but you can get into the membership through purchasing small packages. So like a package might be full management, so you decided to buy a foal, you want to raise a foal. Now what? Where do you begin? Helping you decide on the breed you want, helping you decide on whether or not you're going to seek outside training advice, seeking the right facility to board that little horse at, that's going to make sure that it's well nurtured in your absence, because you may do everything right in the time that you spend with them because you've been diligent about taking the courses or working with a trainer or whatever, and in the time that you're with the horse may be magical. But you want to make sure that you choose a facility that's also prepared to raise that baby the same way you want it raised. So you're going to want to make sure that you find a nice like-minded facility to be certain that everybody's on the same page and you're not raising a confused little horse. Because a confused little horse, when they start going through those defensive stages, when they start going through stages where rearing up is something that sounds like fun, where biting sounds like something that's fun, in the wrong environment, you might find that to be a lifelong problem. In the right environment, it's going to be something that is going to be a stage that they go through and something that you can redirect, right? And one of the things I realized this morning is the best way to phrase that is it's like a game, like a sport. So biting, for example, Tucker, he's gone through, this is going to be his third biting stage. And he's 5 months at the end of the month, right? So he's not even 5 months old yet, and he's already hitting his third biting stage. There were a couple, where you went a little stretch, where he was respectful and not biting and wasn't trying to bite, and now he's back in a stage of trying to bite you and get away as fast as he can kind of thing. So it's definitely a game. I consider that like, rounds of a boxing match. And the only reason I didn't want to use that as my analogy is because it's not a boxing. I don't want anybody to think there's any hitting or abuse, so I didn't want to use boxing. But rounds, like he's on his third round. He's in his third period. He's on his third inning. He's definitely planning this next game. So I'm on top of it. I'm able to kind of say, hey, remember, we already got through this. Let's not do this again. And I can keep him redirected. I can re-guide his energy and help him find something a little more constructive to do with his mouth, or a little more constructive to do with his energy that he doesn't know what to do with, and that's why he's biting. You want to make sure you find a facility that is going to kind of take that job very seriously and going to do things that don't result in your horse getting hit because they don't know how else to manage it. Little babies that are getting hit for biting, just makes them learn how to bite harder, makes them learn how to bite a little more aggressively, with a little more intention. So anyway, I want to do a program that's going to help people make those decisions. Buying a baby is not necessarily, it can go as unthought through as you might just say, well, I want one. Well, make sure that you're going to have one you're going to love having, and you're not going to end up throwing a 2-year-old in an auction house. I want to do a program, having brought up the word auction, I want to do a program helping people who just purchased or adopted or bailed out, however you want to put it, a horse from an auction situation, a horse from a kill pen situation, a pipeline situation, a horse that was not destined for a bright future, but because you wanted to make sure that you were somebody who got involved and you decided you were going to get involved and get yourself a rescue horse. I want to do a program that kind of helps you in the steps of that. You know, vetting out good quarantine facility. If you have other horses at home, you're not going to want to bring that horse home for the first 30 days to make sure it's not sick and it's not just going to bring, you know, sickness into your barn. Knowing that you can't just grab a horse out of an auction house and throw it in a boarding facility. You have to do a quarantine, making sure that your boarding facility does offer or has some kind of quarantine space. You know, the things that you might not even think, you may just think, oh, you know, I found this live feed of this auction and I want to bid on that horse, but you don't think of what to do next. So I kind of want to prepare people for the beginning steps of what you would do. And then, you know, in that program, it would include things like how to help the horse unpack his box. I think that's going to be my biggest. I love raising foals, and that's going to definitely be a strong program. But I think one of my biggest programs that I really want to do is helping people unpack a horse they don't know anything about, unpack their box, learn about them, find out what's in their box that's magical and, you know, is worth saving, and then things that maybe just need a little polish on them but, you know, are still worth saving, and then things that are, you know, that are damaged and really need to find a way to get to a dumpster, and then also how to help the horse detach from their feelings associated with the thing that you just got rid of. Helping people discover the bond with a horse that they don't know anything about, and getting through those stages where the horse says, listen, I've been abused for the last 10 years of my life, and now you just think I'm going to love you, right? How to help a horse through that. How to help a horse that was only a workhorse, was only a machine its whole life, and now all of a sudden it's being asked to bond with a person. How to help you and that horse find that bond. That's pretty much where I want to go with that. I'm very passionate about helping people bond with horses. It looks like I do puzzles as what I teach. I don't teach puzzles, not to the people and not to the horses. What I teach is the communication necessary to accomplish the puzzle. And being able to have the language so strong that you can say, hey, I need you to move your left front foot across the front of your right front foot with a little bit of a lean back in your body so that we can get over to this piece right here, because I'm going to ask you to do something and I need you to be in a certain position. To be able to have that conversation. I love it when my students get to that point where I'm like, did you feel yourself just have a conversation? Did you feel like you just had a conversation and he had a conversation with you as well? That to me is the best part. When I know for a fact that I just witnessed a conversation. Like I'm sitting in the cafe, one table over, and I just watched these two people have a conversation. To me, that is the most rewarding part. Being able to teach a horse to love a human is going to take communication. Being able to mend a broken relationship is going to take communication. Being able to excel in any discipline is going to take communication. This is something that I teach through puzzles. So I know it seems like, if you look at anything I do, it seems like I teach doing obstacle things and puzzles with my horses. So many of the police trained horses, the mounted police, the units that use horses for their police patrol, those horses go through strenuous puzzle type training. That's because it helps them trust their rider. It helps them think through things without being afraid. It helps them trust the communication when they're asked to do something, and it helps them listen to cues to say, hey, I'm gonna need you to step this way, or hey, I'm gonna need you to lower your head. Hey, I'm gonna need you to raise your head. Hey, I'm gonna need you to back up. Hey, I'm gonna need you to bump into something. You can ask a horse to do all those things, and I'm gonna be happy to help anybody who's interested in learning how to communicate with horses. I just happen to do it through puzzles. I do that because it's fun, keeps the horse engaged. I don't do it in just doing aimless circles or whatever. How are you going to have a very intricate conversation by having your horse just run around you in a circle, or having you run, trot 3 laps on the rail and then turn and do 3 laps the other way at a trot? Oh, now we got a canter, 2-3 laps this way. And then maybe if you're a little more advanced, you're doing a jumping course or something like that. Where are you finding the opportunity to have a conversation with that horse? And where is that horse getting anything out of that relationship? When you do puzzles, if you watch how my horses interact with me when I do puzzles, they ask questions, they look for guidance, they look for approval, they look for acceptance, they look for me to put my hand on their forehead and tell them they did a great job, or tell them that they're okay. Those are all communications that I don't see when I watch some of the routine ways of being with horses. I'm just trying to make it a little more interesting for your horse, where your horse can kind of come out of his shell and feel safe to have a conversation with you, and where you actually feel like you went home. I mean, when my students have a good session where they know for a fact they had a conversation with their horses, the most common thing I hear is, I'm proud of me, I'm proud of my horse, I felt really good about that. I felt really good about that today. Super, that's awesome. I want to do that for anybody who owns a horse already and wants a better relationship. I want to do that for anybody who's thinking about buying a horse and it doesn't even have to come from an auction. Or I want to help people unpack an auction horse's docks. I want to help somebody unpack that horse's past life and help convince them through language, through communication, through conversations, that they're actually going to have a better life this day forward. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to probably look for potentially new students that have those situations, because I do a lot of videoing, and I would love to be able to maybe incorporate videos of us helping your horse into that program. So I do always ask my students if they mind being videotaped. I do offer private video so that you have the video to watch. I do offer that. In this particular case, I am hoping to have people that want to be on film and be willing to be vulnerable on film. But if you're not, I do have several private playlists in my YouTube channel that you would not be able to see if you went looking in my YouTube channel. Like, those people are the only ones that have access to their videos. But like I said, my ultimate goal would be to continue to build a collection so that I can have multiple examples, and then also have the evolution of, like, day 1 with Rocky, right? And then day 30 with Rocky. That's what I'm hoping to be able to show. Okay, but again, if you have a horse and you don't want to be on video, but you are interested in what I do, I wouldn't turn you away just because you don't want to be videoed. Trust me. So